Hi everyone, this is my case study on the City of Toronto, and it's the sixth in my series on how Canadian government works. I'm hoping to do this in Montreal both this week, and then go on to the remainder next week. So the City of Toronto, what I'm really looking at is from 1997 onward. So let's take you back to 1997. It was a fun time, and I was a I was a teenager then. I can't remember how old I was. So in 1997 in Ontario, you had a conservative government in power under Mike Harris. And under Mike Harris, there was a sweep towards the more neoliberal thoughts of smaller government, better government. Assuming that smaller government is better government. I don't actually agree with that, but you get the picture. And what they did is they said, well, here's small government. Let's actually do this. Let's actually make government very small. And they saw Metropolitan Toronto, and they hired a consulting firm to look at Metropolitan Toronto. And what they recommended is that everything be merged into one municipality, and they said, well, this will save lots of money. There's a few fallacies with that, which I'll get to later. But for the most part, that's what they did. They had a City of Toronto Act, which basically forced municipal amalgamation on the City of Toronto. But at the same time, they didn't give the City of Toronto any extraordinary powers. And they really didn't. They created a single-tier municipality, but no upper-tier municipalities in the area. So there was a few problems with this. First of all, the financial distribution between the new City of Toronto and the Greater Toronto Area still exists. And the level of service delivery in the different parts of the City of Toronto still existed. And what happened is the consultants really operated under an assumption that service delivery would be brought down. So the former City of Toronto and Etobicoke had services like this, and the assumption was that the City of Toronto would go like this. What actually happened is City of Toronto here, Etobicoke here, Etobicoke increased slowly their level of services to match the urban core, which really created a disproportionate number of services for outlying areas of the City of Toronto, and is still a problem that we're facing today in the City of Toronto. The other thing they didn't do is they didn't give the City of Toronto any special powers. They were a municipality like every other municipality incorporated under the Municipal Act. So what happened was they said, well, this really works, this is really going to work well, and in truth it didn't. About a year or so after they amalgamated, there was a computer leasing issue that came up. I'm not going to go too awfully into it. And there were some real bad dealings going on there with the computer leasing. There was some real shady dealings. So they held a public inquiry into it, the Bellamy inquiry. And what she found was that the City of Toronto, first of all, lacked appropriate safeguards governance-wise to protect the city against bad governance, and it lacked considerable financial powers to really give the city good governance. So what the provincial government did is they introduced an act called the Stronger City of Toronto for the Stronger Ontario Act, and it has been made fun of the title because, for a stronger universe, whatever. And it gave Toronto some very interesting powers and some very interesting offices. First of all, it created a mandatory governance offices. First of all, a integrity commissioner to look at the conduct of council, an auditor general to look at the programs of council. This should be noted that this is not the same as the provincial auditor general. The financial auditing report still has to go through a CA for the City of Toronto, like any other municipality. But this is really to look at program and how money are being spent, value for money wise. It created a lobbying registry and a lobbying commissioner, to which a lot of lobbyists really object to profusely. It created a few other offices which really are governance wise, and it better defined a number of different offices. Like, for example, in the former Municipal Act, the Municipal Act 2001, the mayor was the chief executive officer of the municipality. There was no explanation of what the chief executive officer of the municipality did. So it actually added a section explaining the role of the mayor as chief executive officer of the municipality. And most interesting, what it did is it gave the City of Toronto a number of direct taxation measures. I won't go into each one of them in detail, but really stuff like the land transfer tax, the vehicle registration tax, those things are special taxation measures which only the City of Toronto has under the City of Toronto Act 2007. So in the aftermath of that, you did see again the parts of the City of Toronto say, well, if we don't have this problem, why should we pay for it? Which is where you see stuff like Rob Ford, who says, we should, in Etobicoke, we don't have the same homeless problem as the downtown. So why should we pay the same amount as downtown for the homeless problem? And that's where he really gets his power from. So you definitely have that. And you definitely have a lot of uneven service delivery throughout the City of Toronto, still an uneven demand for service throughout the City of Toronto. So what do you do for a city like Toronto? Well, the City of Toronto Act 2007, the only part which is really notable in it is the additional taxation powers. After the City of Toronto Act 2007 was proclaimed, like 3 or 4 days after, the Minister of Municipal Affairs rose in the legislature of Ontario and introduced a Municipal Statute Law Amendment Act, which really made optional a lot of the things which the City of Toronto does mandatory for any municipality. Closed meeting investigator is the only thing that's mandatory for every municipality in the province. And that's the only one that I forgot to mention earlier. But the Auditor General, the Integrity Commissioner, the Lobbying Registry is optional for every municipality in the province. So really the only there's a few different unique parts of the City of Toronto Act, but mainly the only unique part of the City of Toronto Act is the financial powers. And City Council has been really hesitant on using a lot of the financial power. The only real ones they used is the land transfer tax and the vehicle registration tax. They have been really hesitant to use the entertainment part of the City of Toronto Act or other parts of the City of Toronto Act. And there's a few different reasons for that. The other things that the City of Toronto Act 2007 didn't do is it didn't create borders, or some wanted to. If you look at other major cities, you see the local level, the real local level, has some form of elected representative in it. City of Toronto has, the former cities have their own council, but it's a very advisory committee type council reporting to City Council as a whole. Not as, say, the City of New York or the City of Montreal, where you actually have boroughs with their own assigned functions. So that's very interesting. The other thing is that the City of Toronto Act did not create a regional government. So you still have the same financial inequities, you still have the same deficit problems, only you have the City of Toronto having more powers in regards to taxation, which gives them a little bit more revenue. And that's it. So that's my case study on the City of Toronto. I'll put more readings in the description box. The next is the City of Montreal, which is a very interesting case, and I hope you get all three published today. Anyway, that's it for this video. I'll be back in Montreal soon.